Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Lomax Stance hard folding tonneau cover, and we're going to see how it looks and how it installs on our 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500. Now if you watch this video and you decide this is the tonneau cover for you and your Silverado 1500, and you go out and purchase it and get it installed, why don't you go ahead and share your experience with that in the comments below. We'd love to share your stories with our other neighbors in order to help them make the best decision for themselves. Now, a tonneau cover is an excellent option if you've got items in your truck bed that you like to keep covered, whether you're protecting it from the elements or protecting it from theft. A tonneau cover is generally the best way to, keep your items safe. So the advantages of a hard tonneau cover as opposed to a soft is that while both of them are going to do a good job protecting from the elements, a soft tonneau cover is susceptible to theft only because it'd be real easy for someone to just come up, slash through it with a knife, and to get into your truck bed. With a hard tonneau cover like this, they're not going to be able to do that because of the aluminum panels that we have coming through here. They're not going to be able to just cut through it. And while no tonneau cover is completely waterproof, a good tonneau cover like this one is going to be very, weather resistant. So around the edging of all of it, we've got this really nice little bulb seal. There is a bulb seal that we will show you how to install up at the bulkhead as well. And those are going to be things that really do a good job of keeping everything out. And while this has a really nice flush look across the top, it does avoid covering up any of the stake pockets. So if you wanted to have a tonneau cover and a ladder rack on your Silverado, that's a possibility with the Lomax Stance. Operation of it is going to be really fairly simple as well. If we open up our tailgate here, we are able to unlock it, undetach it from our tailgate end really from either side. So there's a pull cord here, and either side we pull on, it will open both latches. We'll be able to fold it up to here. And again. Once you get it to this point here, in order to basically keep everything together as we fold it up closer to the cab, it's going to be a good idea to go ahead and secure this kind of elastic rope piece here into this hook. Now what that's going to do is going to just keep this from flying open as we lift it up against our cab. And in order to do that, we're really going to want to be inside the truck bed. Now from here, we can go ahead and lift up against it after we undo our latch. And from here, there are arms with a loop in it that come out from either side. We have these anchor points installed up here, and all we're going to do is kind of lift up against it, attach it into those anchor points, and now we've got it in a great position. It's leaning slightly toward the cab, but it's not going to actually come into contact with the cab. So we could push forward, pull back, and it's not going anywhere. The installation of this tonneau cover is really, really simple. So follow along and we'll show you exactly how we got this on today's truck. Installation is going to begin with our rail assembly. And first thing you want to do is identify which side you have as far as your rail goes. So right now we are looking for the driver's side. The way that these are built is so that you have this rubber weather stripping, which is going to go on the inside of your bed rail. And then you'll have this grip texture facing inward on the bed with this lip following. So it's going to go on really just like this. So there's going to be a little bit of a lip right here that's going to come up over the bed rail, but that is how it's going to go on. And as far as orientation goes from there, on the short end, you're going to have one side that has an existing bolt in it and the other side open. The open side is going to be the side that's going to go up here closest to the cab. This section with the bolt attached to it is going to attach to our longer section of the rail through this right here. So the first thing we want to do is get this bolt removed. Then we're going to simply slide it over and into place right here. And now, as you can see, that bolt hole is lined up. So we can go ahead and reattach our bolt and complete our rail assembly. Now we're going to attach our rail onto the truck bed, and we're going to use these brackets to do it. And in talking about the brackets, it's a good idea, I think, to loosen the bolt up just to give you enough slack to make sure that we've got it around and get the grip. But as you can see, they're kind of mirrored images of each other. We've got a long end up here at the top on this side, and then a short end toward the bottom. What you don't want to do is orient these so that you have the long end opposite each other and the short end opposite each other. And what we have kind of discovered through a little bit of trial and error here is that if you get these oriented, you want the nut facing out so you can tighten it down, but to where the wider portion is here on the bottom, that gives us a much more level installation of our rail. And as far as where the brackets get placed, if you feel around under the inside and back of your rail, as you move your hand along, you're going to notice that in a few spots there's an indentation that's about yay wide, and that is where our bracket placement is going to go. So we've got one right up here toward the cab. We've got another one right here that is above the start of the wheel well. Another one right here, which is going to be toward the rear of the wheel well. And then finally, we've got another one that's right back here all the way pretty much at the tailgate, or as far back as it can go on your bed rails. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get my rail up and into position. It can help to have a friend with this, only because, while I'm holding this up in place, it can be a little bit disorienting to fumble with these brackets one-handed. But what I'm also trying to do is make sure that I keep that lip over the bed rail and flush. And I also want to make sure that I get this as far forward as I can up against this bulkhead. So now that I've got that in a good position, I'm going to make sure I orient this with the bolt facing out and the wider portion of the bracket on the bottom. And I'm going to position this in that area of the bed rail and make sure that I get as many of these teeth to grip it as I can. Now that we've got that front bracket, we tightened it down a little bit with our 1/2-inch socket wrench, but we didn't tighten it down completely. There is a torque spec for these bolts and brackets, but once we have this on and level, that's when we're going to go through and torque them. So for now, since I've got the front one done, I'm going to come all the way here to the back. I'm going to find my spot that I need it, and I'm going to put those on the same exact way as we did the other. And again, I'm trying to get these teeth to grip on the rail as high up as I can. Now that we've got that there, I'm going to hand tighten this down. Now I'm going to grab my 1/2-inch socket and get it tightened down completely. I just want to make sure that we've got both ends in a good position and level. Makes it a lot easier to do the middle two brackets at that point. So we're going to continue from there, put on our middle two brackets. Now that we've got all of our clamps set on both our driver and passenger side, we've double checked to make sure that this lip is level on each side. But now we can go ahead and take our 1/2-inch socket and get them torqued down according to the instructions. Install our bulkhead seal. So where this is going to go is going to be all the way at the edge of the flat surface up here by the cab. We don't want it to get this rounded off part right here. We want it laying flat, so as close to where it starts to round off as possible. And you'll notice that there are two different heights to the walls on our seal. We want to do this so that the taller wall is facing the cab. And this is going to be peel and stick. And they are going to give you more than what is necessary for the width of your cab. So have yourself a good sharp scissor handy to cut off any excess that we get from the end. We're just going to kind of start it again on that kind of flat lip part there. And we're just going to slowly make our way down and make sure it's even across there. I'm not peeling it off completely from the jump. I just want to make sure that nothing sticks where it's not supposed to. But it's a really good idea to wash this off with soap and water first. They do provide you with a few alcohol wipes in the kit as well, just to make sure you get it extra clean. Now that we have our bulkhead seal in place, we're going to go ahead and get our tonneau cover and lift it up and put it up here on our rails. I got my friend here, Tom. He's going to help us get this up here onto the rails. The orientation of this should be, there is a short end, maybe 4 inches wide. This is the end that needs to be up by your cab. And what we're going to be doing is just lifting this up. We're going to get it up here close to our rails, and we're just going to drop it on in just like this. These latches here, we want them to drop right in that spot where the two rails came together, and that should drop in and latch right in place. Now that we've got that in position, we'll be getting underneath the tonneau cover, and we'll be putting on our latches on our bulkhead piece. Once this section gets clamped down, it's not something that's going to be undone. So what I'm doing right now is taking the shim tool, and I'm just making sure that the outer edge of that seal is coming out in front of this. It's just going to ensure that we get a lot less moisture coming in here. So this is a little bit of a tedious job, but well worth it. So I'm just going to go down the line until the outer seal is fitting along the outside of the front of our cover. With our bulkhead seal in place, everything up here is followed into that channel of the seal. The next thing we need to do is get this front small section clamped down onto our rails. So on each side, we're going to see a little sliding clamp with a bolt. What we're going to have to do first is loosen this bolt up using that 1/2-inch socket that we've been using for most everything on here. And what I want to do is get it loose enough that it's going to basically slip over the lip here on the side of our rail. And once I've got that in place, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it back down with my socket. And then we'll get to the instructions and read what the torque spec is. Everything's in place. All of our brackets are tightened down. Everything under here is bolted in and tightened down. Now it's going to be time to go ahead and completely deploy our tonneau cover and close the tailgate, ensuring that we have a good fit. Good clean latch at both ends, and a really nice coverage all along our tailgate here. So it looks like everything's in and fits properly. We just have one more step that we need to take, and to do that, we're going to go ahead and open our tailgate again, open up our tonneau cover, and what we're going to be doing next is when we have our tonneau cover all the way opened up, we don't want it leaning against the back of our cab. There are some anchor points that we're going to install up on the roof of our cab, but first we need to get this opened up. And before we open it completely, there's a little latch back here that we want to make sure that we hook in on both sides. We're going to take this elastic cord, we're going to pop it right underneath this little hook that we have right here. And that's really going to ensure that the rest of this all stays in shape as we get it lifted up completely. So the last step in our installation is going to be to install these anchor points. And what these are for are, there is a little arm that will detach out of this part of the tonneau cover. This knob end here will actually fit inside there just like that. And it's magnetized and has an adhesive on the back. Just using the magnet, what I'm trying to do is to get this tonneau cover to lean a little bit toward the cab. However, I don't want it touching the cab. So once I have this in a place where it's going to be set really well, I'm going to go ahead and remove the adhesive backing from this, stick it down permanently, and that way I'll have a nice anchor point for it whenever I need to have this open all the way up, and I don't want it falling back into the truck bed, and I don't want it leaning up on my cab. So this looks like a pretty good spot. It keeps an inch of clearance back here. It's still slightly leaning this way. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a really good spot for it. Once those anchors are secured in place, your installation is complete. So it's as simple as that 4-step process. Rails, bulkhead seal, cover, anchors, and all done. So there's a look at the installation of our Lomax Stance hard folding tonneau cover on our 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500. I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.